Have you ever wanted to hide part of your animation? Maybe have it hide behind a telephone pole or go through a window and hide it on the other side of the window. Well, yeah, a lot of times we use overlays for this, but sometimes we don't have the overlay, so we create a mask. This video is to show you how to create a mask in Toonboom Harmony. Hope you like it. So in this video we're going to talk about what a mask is. I gave a small example there, but I'll actually show you some examples. Before we start creating a mask, I'm going to show you how to organize the node view so it's easier to add masks. And to be honest, we should really get used to organizing our node view anyway, so this is a good lesson anyway. Then once we have our node view organized, we'll create a shape to hide the animation, and then use the cutter node to hide that part of the animation. Now, what is a mask? Well, we talked earlier about an animator using it to hide part of their animation. Now, this is important because when the animator animates, you don't want them thinking about what not to draw, or what to erase, or what to worry about when it gets into composite. The animator should just worry about the performance of their character, and when it goes to composite, it either gets hidden by an overlay or gets hidden by a mask. The animator has enough going on. Don't give them more. So that's why we create masks, and that's why we create overlays. Riggers, people that make puppets for 2D characters or 3D characters, when they want to hide part of that puppet or part of that character, right? If you open a mouth, you see the inside of the mouth. So riggers use masks all the time. Compositors use masks all the time as well for lighting or effects. Let's take a look at some of these examples. Now here's a great little ball bounce animation by Rae Corston. And you can see the ball goes through the window, but it's not hidden on the other side. And that's great. We want the animator to concentrate on the performance. We don't want them worrying about what to half draw or what not to draw. They should be considering or worrying about the actual performance of the animation. Let the compositors or let the masks or the overlays hide whatever needs to be hidden. Here's the same example. This time I have a mask hiding the ball when it goes through the window. And I have my two helpers here. Thanks for helping me make the mask. Here you go. Good puppies. Here's how a rigger will use a mask. This is a great little character by Sima Naseem. Okay, and I rigged it up so that it has a mouth. So when I'm animating the mouth, I could pull the chin down and you could see inside the mouth and teeth even. Okay, and it's a mask that hides that. When I put it away, it's actually a mask that you're not seeing. But then when I open it, the mask reveals the teeth and the tongue and the inside of the mouth. Okay? This is an example of how a compositor will use a mask. In this case, I made a light ray, and then when the character walks under that light ray, you could see the light reflect off of the character. You can see it's a little bit more yellow there. Okay, so the character actually reacts to the light. It looks like it's reacting, but it's actually just a mask. Let's see what that looks like when I turn the mask off. There you go. So here, you could see the lighting on the character. Here, let's get the arm out for you. There you go. And I'm going to hide that mask. And you could see how the yellow is reflecting off of the character. It gives it a sense of volume. Okay? So compositors actually use masks to create lighting or to create the illusion of lighting. So that was 3 quick examples of how an animator could use a mask, how a rigger can use a mask, and how a compositor can use a mask, or a lighter can use a mask. Okay, and there's more reasons than that. Regardless, when we're in Harmony, how do you create a mask? We're going to cover that next. Before we create it, we have to organize our node view. Now, to organize our node view, we're actually going to have to open up that node view. And this is actually an environment you want to be comfortable in. You're going to want to be able to animate in it. You're going to be able to want to rig in it. Compositors are working in it. Okay, so everyone uses the node view. So we're going to have to organize it, and it's going to seem very technical or very tedious, but it's an environment you should be comfortable in. You'll definitely use this. So here's that same animation that we were looking at earlier. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to click at the top, Window, Node View. Okay, and this is what the node view looks like, and like I said, it needs to be organized. Okay, right now they're all kind of bunched up together, and you can see this isn't very well organized. Okay, so like I said, this is a tedious process, but it is important. Like I said, animators use it, effects artists, compositors use it, and it is standard practice to have these nodes organized. Okay, now there are tools that'll help us. You can see I have some tools across the top. When you went Windows Node View, you probably didn't get those tools that I have. If that's the case, the trick is to get these is to press this plus button, and you're going to go down to Node View. I know you're already in the Node View, but you're going to go down to Node View again. And then suddenly you'll have these icons across the top. Now we only need one icon for this to organize. Is we highlight the nodes, and we're going to choose the third option. Click the third option, don't look, and hit OK. And there it is. Okay, so now it's somewhat organized. It's definitely better than what it was, but for standard industry practice, we don't want this flower idea. Okay, we want all the drawing nodes, and these are drawing nodes, these blue ones. We want all these drawing nodes lined up in a straight line. Okay, and I'm just using my mouse wheel and my space bar. So we want all the drawing nodes to be in a straight line. Okay, these ones here are fine to just sit there. The most important ones are these drawing nodes. You want them straight. And you may want to give yourself a little bit more room, so I pull these down. There. So again, if you're not seeing these icons, just click at the top, plus button, and go down to Node View, and that'll get you these icons. Now we want to add a drawing that will hide that animation. Okay, because right now the ball's going through the window, but I could see it on the other side. So what we're going to do next is actually draw a shape that we're going to use as a mask. So I'm going to add a drawing layer, plus drawing. I always create a vector layer, especially for masks. Hit add. If you want to call it mask, that's totally fine. Let's call it mask layer, or mask. Add and close. And I'm going to go to that mask layer. And I'm just going to use this rectangle tool to get me started. And maybe I'll choose the green color. And I'm going to put it roughly where I want that mask to be. Now this is not the right shape yet. But with my contour tool, I can actually modify this shape. So I'm going to Control plus or Control click, and that starts to give me these points. And you can see what I'm doing. Control plus or Control click. Now to round these off, I'm going to Alt drag. Alt drag. So anything that goes into this green area, the ball will be hidden. So I roughly got it around that line. Let me make it a little bit cleaner. There you go. And now let's just flood fill it. Bucket tool, flood fill. And that's going to be the shape that's going to hide this animation. Okay. So let's go back to our node view. And now we could see that new mask that we just created. Here it is here. Okay, and I'm going to put it near that bouncing ball. And you don't want any lines crossing. So I'm going to pull this over. There's my bouncing ball. And there's my mask. Now in order to change that mask drawing into a mask, so right now it's just a drawing. We want to now turn it into a mask. So the way we do that is we add what's known as a cutter node. So I'm going to right click, insert, right click, insert, combine, cutter. And that'll get somewhere, this will pop up, this cutter node. Now this cutter node has an output, a mask input, and a drawing input. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug the bouncing ball into it. I'm going to Alt drag it, hold the Alt key and drag it, and you see how it attaches to the bouncing ball? And the bouncing ball is on the image side. See how it says image there on the right side? The mask, I'm going to disconnect it. I'm going to grab this and plug it up there. So now if I look back at my animation, the mask is gone. Here, let's undo that. Undo. See the green? As soon as I plug this off, you're no longer going to see the green, but that does activate the cutter. So now when I play this, it's broken. All right, let's see what I got. Now, why didn't that work? Let's take a look. If I leave that mask connected to the composite, we could see it. Perfect. Okay. When I hit play, we only see it for one frame. Watch, it'll flash. And it'll flash. So that means that my mask drawing is right there, but it's not showing for all the frames. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the very end and hit F5. So I'm clicking on the very last frame and hit F5. So now when I hit play, the green will always be showing. Unless I miss a spot, which I'm missing. Yep, I'm totally missing. So I didn't go right to the end. So there, now I went to the end, hit F5 to extend it. Now the green is showing for the whole animation. So now, let's go back to our node view, disconnect the mask, and plug it into the cutter. And now, I hope it works this time. Oh, whew. Thank you. So let's do a little recap. We've learned that a mask can be used for lighting, it could be used for a rig, and it could be used to hide part of an animation, to let the animators do the work that they need to do without worrying about what not to draw if it's drawn animation. Okay? And in order to add that mask, we had to organize our node view first. And organizing the node view is important. It's something that you will use when you're animating. You're going to use the node view when you composite. You will use the node view. You use a lot. You use it when you work with rigs, whether you're making rigs or animating rigs. So once we have our node view organized, then we drew a shape to hide that animation. And we just drew it on a regular drawing layer as a vector. Then we added a cutter node. It's coming up. Got my notes. There you go. With my cutter node, we used part of it for the mask, and the other part we had the animation come into. I hope this video was helpful. Feel free to leave comments if you want me to expand on some more of that. Have fun.